What else can be done?
Minecraft with 8D audio.
Okay, I like it. Picasso.
Und dann erscheint unser letztes.
So hello everyone, this is another video interview, and today I am hosting this with amazing Tim, who is a founder of GoSpooky agency. Hello Tim.
Hi, great to be here.
Thank you very much for agreeing to do this. Thank you very much for your time. I hope it will be an amazing talk. I mean, I'm sure it will be.
Looking forward.
Perfect. And to not take any of our time, just to go straight into the business, first and foremost, I'm very curious, to know, how did you decide to start the agency? How did you decide to found the GoSpooky, and basically how all of it evolved? Tell us, please. Tell me, first of all, how all of it started.
So the whole story started 6 years ago. Before I was working in the music industry, worked at a record label, and I was responsible for all like newer social platforms there. Okay. So set up like the Instagram, Snapchat, Twitch, some of the Chinese platforms. And there I saw like the huge untapped potential of like big brands, Fortune 500 brands on social media. So I started GoSpooky together with my co-founder Liam, and we just started as like the first Snapchat only agency in Europe. Therefore also the name GoSpooky. And from there, that was because we saw that as the future of how people wanted to use social media. So augmented reality, mobile first, made for the mobile screen, like privacy first. So all those things. And we started with Snapchat, expanded from there, and now we have over 100 people. And our mission is really to keep leading brands at the forefront of social. We're opening our New York office in a couple of months.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Very excited, very excited.
Yeah, so it's been a hell of a roller coaster, and a lot has happened the last 6 years, and it still feels like we're just beginning. So that's always super nice.
That's true. That's true. And as you said, like 6 years ago, it was a very long time ago. And I think Snapchat was the only platform that was like driven by AR, let's say. And now you see like Instagram, Lightshape, TikTok, it's everywhere. And as you said, it's only the beginning still.
Yeah, it's super interesting. Like 6 years ago, there were only face filters, like the simple effects. And I think
like the dog mask,
the dog
obviously
mask,
staple one.
Ears, like everything, the rainbow puke, like all those things that really shaped, I think, the beginning of AR. And I think we've come a long way from there. And if you compare what we could do with the tech 6 years ago and what we can do now, yeah, there has been so much improvement in the technology. So it's really crazy.
I totally agree with you. And I think that people also are getting more and more used to AR, because as you said, like before it was only face masks, and everyone were like, oh, these are those funny effects, right? Are you talking about these or what? And now even, you know, even the basic effects with World AR and etc., they're so surreal.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think the last 6 years have been so much on entertainment. I think those events were so much on entertainment, and I think what you're now seeing is that there's like a whole new spectrum of experiences that really add utility to the user. So of course all the fashion try-ons, but also lens experiences and AR experience that just help you in your daily life and make your life just that really truly add value to your life. I think that's really awesome to see as well.
And what were the biggest challenges for you in your journey?
A lot. I think so we had a lot of challenges, and it's never a straight line. I think we made every mistake that we could make in growing the company. Last 4 years. So last 4 years, we grew from like only Liam and myself to like over 100 people. Just learning.
Wow. So wait, I'm so sorry. So it happened only in 2 years. I thought it was like, you know, a consistent in 4 years. Okay.
No, like the first 2 years of GoSpooky was I was still finishing my high school. So it was I was running like the company we had some freelancers. I was just during English class and during like math, I was just in the back running the company back then. So and 4 years ago we really opened our first office. Both Liam and I stopped with studies, decided to do this for 1 year, see where it ends, and now we're 4 years later. Now it's 4 years later, and yeah, we made every mistake that we could make, and it was mostly because I never ever in my life worked at an agency, neither did Liam. So it was we did things the way we thought it was logical, which now has ever felt that we work very differently and that it's really something else than like the traditional agency. But we also made like some really basic mistakes, like the first 6 months in running the company, we didn't sell anything. It was just us having quite some knowledge about social and trying to explain that to people, but we didn't know how to make a sell, how like big corporates worked, like everything. At one point even I noticed like one question I think for every beginning entrepreneur, but also like especially in like a new area, like what are you worth? What's like the price that you charge for your services or for your knowledge, for like what do you create? So at one point, every meeting that we had, we just doubled our price. So
good for you.
Yeah, that was just because like we came in the meeting, like every time we just said like double the price from like the last meeting. And so at one point there was like 3 people in front of us, and one started beginning to laugh, like the other 2 didn't. So then we're like, okay. But there was also a time where we just send out a proposal, and then we got a call back, and they literally asked us like, hey, did you add a 0 too much? Maybe by any chance? And we were like, no, this is the right proposal. And they were like, okay, then we're moving on. So then by that we also like figured out, okay, should be the pricing and stuff. So yeah, we made a lot of mistakes, like a lot of fun stories.
But I think you gained lots of experience because of it.
Yeah, we learned so much, and still we're still learning every day.
And how do you think you can pitch an AR project to a client, especially the one that still does not have any experience with AR?
I think the best way to sell AR is to try it yourself. So really experience it yourself. At the same time, also show like how people are using it and the amount of people that are using it. I think that's really interesting to look into. So having that personal first experience with AR, understanding what it is, understanding how it's different from creating a video, for example, and at the same time understanding how other people are using it. So for example, 250 million people on Snapchat using it every day. Like, why is that so? How did they use AR? How is it different from for example, TikTok or Instagram? I think that's really important to understand. But I think the best way to understand AR is to try it for yourself, and maybe even build like a small experience yourself. But go do the research.
Yeah, that's true. I totally agree with you. Basically, it can be implemented in every sphere in life, but I think AR especially because it's such a whole kind new branch that you just have to go in this, and that's it. That's the best advice.
Yeah.
And how do you think, because of this, because we talked about how it's just starting and etc., but your company, as you said, has been on the market for a couple of years now, how do you think your agency differs from other marketing agencies or AR agencies?
So we didn't start as a AR
Exactly.
agency. We started out just telling people to
Mhm.
create vertical videos on social media.
Uh-huh.
So I think what makes us different is that we do more than only AR production. So
Mhm.
we also think about strategy, brand strategy,
Mhm.
can explain to a brand like, hey, what's like your camera strategy, for example, for the next
Mhm.
few years. But we also think on distribution. So
Mhm.
having like data in-house, media placement, like deployment distribution. So
Mhm.
basically everything from like the first strategy on like, hey, how should my AR strategy or like my AR strategy within my
Marketing,
brand
yeah.
strategy look for the next few years
Mhm.
until like, hey, where am I going to deploy this on social, on webs?
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, how do
You
I
take care of all of it.
everything? I think that's we do much more than only production.
Mhm.
How I think we differ from like most
Yeah.
marketing agencies is like,
Mhm.
hey, we know the platforms and the platforms knows us. We have like partnerships with basically all the major platforms.
Mhm.
And we know how people interact on these platforms,
Mhm.
but we also have the technology in-house. So it's like this sweet spot of, okay, we know social, we know the platforms, but we also have like innovation tech, this culture of innovation.
Mhm.
And we think much further than only like a video concept or only a
Mhm.
commercial. I think that's really what makes us different
Mhm.
than like other.
And continuing topic of AR, how much space would you say AR takes in your regular operations in your firm?
It's right now it's our biggest product. So
Mhm.
also it's also growing the fastest.
Of course.
So it's yeah, I think it's around almost 40-50% right now. And it's growing the fastest also internationally. So it's really interesting to see how that developed over like the past few years. And if we see like where the market is going for the next few years, I think it's we're just starting here.
Mhm. And I can't just ignore the fact that you've recently won a couple of awards, like the best AR award at the best social awards and the title of the agency of the year at the SAN awards, among others. Like, congratulations, first of all,
Thank
huge
you so much.
congrats. And the other thing, what was like the most important part, the key point to winning these trophies, in your opinion?
I think it's mostly because of like all the amazing clients and amazing people working here who just
Mhm.
like who are doing like their best job ever. So I think that's at the core of it. From a company point of view, I think
Yeah.
we're constantly trying to reinvent ourselves.
Mhm.
So being at that forefront, which is different every day, experimenting with new features, doing deep dives, diving in deep, failing, trying constantly. I think that's what really makes us different.
Mhm.
So really having that, working at that intersection of social and also technology, really I think we're very, very well positioned for like the next
Mhm.
5 to 10 years with all the new technologies coming up from like AR, of course, but also like immersive tech in general.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that, but above all, it's about all our amazing clients, partners, spookies who work so hard every day. So that's I think that's the main reason why we're so lucky to being able to win those awards.
Well, listen, I'm all here for your further awards because you totally deserve it, guys. So I am honestly rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
And could you share like with us your most exciting project or collaboration? Because as you said, like probably you have lots and lots of different clients you had throughout all of those years, but like maybe some of them were very special to you.
Yeah, I think I have a couple. We did a collaboration together with Snap and Jeep in Canada, where we basically used machine learning to turn every Jeep that you see in the streets, turn that into a dealership. So every Jeep model has like a unique grille. So we turned basically the grille of every Jeep into a barcode using machine learning. And then you could customize your new Jeep. You could get information about the current model that you're seeing, and would even tell you how far you're away from a dealership. So that's one of my favorite projects because it's
mixing everything, like literally
everything.
Yes, I can just walk down the street, see a Jeep and be like, hi, cool car, I wonder, and here you go, everything in one point.
It had everything. So it had technology in it. It really solved something, in my opinion. And I think it's also for the future of AR. I really see like physical objects, like a car, but could also be like a product from a brand. I think that physical product, it's really difficult right now to make like a digital connection to a physical product. And I think technologies like that in the future, it will become, I believe, like physical products or objects will really become a gateway to like the digital world, whether that's like a game or like an app or like an experience, or will just tell you something about the product, but it becomes contextual. You can launch digital experiences contextual to like what you're seeing in the physical world. And I think that's super powerful. And this was like an early step in that, but we never did it before. And it was really interesting case.
And I think that machine learning is not that common throughout all of these Snap campaigns and etc., right? So not a lot of people uses it.
No, it's fairly new tech.
Okay.
So Snap has like their Snap ML product within Lens Studio.
Yeah.
And yeah, how we see it, basically we think you can really create magic with it, because you can train the camera and train the camera to see things it couldn't do before. So really turn it into a smart camera. But also like I think the most recent, most popular filters on Snapchat, like the crying filter, or like the one with the tongue, like I think everybody knows them. Those are all based on like machine learning models. So I think it has a big future. It's not too easy to really go deep into machine learning because it's super technical. But I see a lot more. There are so many possibilities there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Honestly, I am a huge fan. I talk about it all the time because for me, AR is basically such an important tool in education, in commerce, in every basically, sphere of our lives, and it can grow in so much more in the future. I can stop whining about it, so I totally get it. But I also saw the case that you had with the Tiffany & Co. And it was also like an incredible journey because it was for the university, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And it was connected with the exhibition and the Saatchi Gallery, London Saatchi Gallery. Could you tell a little bit more about this one?
Yeah, so it was the 150th anniversary of Tiffany & Co. And what we did is we created a custom landmarker on the Saatchi Gallery in London. And basically when you were in front of the building, we made like this whole 3D mesh of the building, made like this custom scan of the building. And when you, as a user, were in front of the building, you could take out your Snapchat camera, point it at the building, and then like the whole building would be covered in diamonds. And this was even before like Snap launched like the new ray tracing feature. So we created our own custom diamond shaders to make like the diamonds even more realistic.
Oh, wow.
It was really a really cool project, and it's pretty new as well. Like the custom landmarker features aren't that are fairly new.
But that's really exciting that you are still diving deep into those features. It doesn't matter that they're still new. You're not only, exploring them, but you're also doing such amazing work with it. You can obviously say to everyone that you basically made Tiffany Diamond. I think it's a good flex.
Yeah, I think it could be a good flex, right?
It is definitely. For sure, for sure. And the last, I also heard about ComplexCon. Am I right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah,
The first one in the pandemia.
Yeah, so this ComplexCon was, I think, a really exciting one. It was also first for us. I think it was also first for ComplexCon as well. So ComplexCon, it's a 2-day event. A lot of like culture, performances, sneaker culture there, sneakerheads going there. And what we did is we created this AR, on-site AR experience, which included multiple lenses which were connected to each other on site, and it allowed people to we dropped like exclusive items through like these portals.
Okay.
So basically people were using the app. They would say, and then it would count down, would say, hey, you should go to this location, and there you would have like this banner, and when you scan the banner you could step into like this AR portal, find like a secret code, and then that would allow you to basically buy that exclusive item. And we during the weekend dropped multiple items across the festival, and it all sold out. So it was a really cool experience, especially in bringing together the physical and the digital. And there are so many things screaming for your attention at a festival, so making that happen, I think it was a challenge, but it was really cool to do it.
Because what you did with that one, you basically created a fairy tale, but in reality. So, if I was there, I would be absolutely amazed and thrilled by it, because not only I'm at the festival where I obviously wanted to go, I also have a map. So I'm going for the treasures. I'm going to the hunting, those things. Of course, I would buy anything or everything. Depends on, on the wallet, but still, it's so cool.
Yeah, and I think what's so nice about it, it's like, okay, you have this, it's not only like what you're saying, it's entertainment in the form of like you're doing a scavenger hunt, you're jumping in like virtual worlds, but it also has like this commerce component in it. So people were able to buy as well through the AR experience, click out, then would launch like the checkout website. But it's like it had almost everything. It had like the physical activation, it had like the digital worlds, it had like entertainment in it, utility in it, app integration. So it was a lot of everything to combine, like multiple experiences. I think that was also the biggest challenge, but it played out, and it was really really nice.
I think basically nowadays, if a customer or an attendee or whoever who is, participating in some sort of event is just participating, does not, get into stuff like that. So he or she basically do not get any experience except for the festival. It's like, it's basic stuff. Everyone can do that. But when someone steps forward and decides to do something like, immersive or other than usual, it definitely brings much more everything, excitement, people, revenue, whatever you think, it will make it work just like that.
100%.
But I also know that you had experience with the Made Fashion Festival. We worked with designers, brought AR onto the catwalk. That's interesting. So how did the collaboration look like? Could you tell us more?
100%. So I think it was one of our most favorite recent collaborations, was together with Snap and Made Fashion Festival. Basically, the brief was like, hey, how can we reimagine the runway? How can we reimagine fashion in this sense? So it was a super ambitious brief. We collaborated with 3 upcoming designers. And we basically sit together with them, concepted with them, and said like, hey, how can we really take your take your brand and take your creations, take those digitally. So for example, we did like multiple experiences. One was during the show, which was outside. So we worked with sky segmentation, which really allowed people not to also add like this digital layer to like the physical runway. We would have like interactive mannequins, which were like fitted for each and every designer. So it was really with contextual and really localized AR. So that was really cool about it. I think another cool part is just having that close collaboration directly with those fashion designers. And it was a very cool dynamic of them like, hey, can we do this and can we do that? And it was such a fun collaboration. So yeah, we enjoyed that one.
Did you learn something special from it? Apart from, of course, all the technical stuff and etc.
Yeah, I think so working with like these designers, I think was really cool. Like on the conceptual side, explaining like you said, like, hey, can we do this? And then explaining like, yeah, we could do that, but maybe in like another form. Like combining those two, I think that was really that was also a first for us and was really cool to experience.
Well, it was also, I'm more than sure it was also a first for them. So they were incredibly excited about it as well. You know, it's totally something new when basically when a designer creates something for the catwalk, it's incredibly special. But when it can be brought into AR, so random, so cool. Honestly, I'm sure all of them were thrilled about this.
100%.
Let's be honest, metaverse is basically the key word of this year, of this current year, and especially in the digital marketing space. And what are your thoughts on basically the metaverse and future development of AR?
So my thoughts about the metaverse doesn't exist today. I think, and it won't exist for the next 5 years. So how I see the metaverse, it's like just like the internet today. I think like millions and millions of like destinations where you could go to, but mostly in 3D, mostly interactive. So that's where I see the metaverse. And until now, we've seen some brands who said like, hey, we're doing things in the metaverse. I think what we've seen mostly is brands doing or VR or like activations on gaming platforms like Roblox, Fortnite. And whilst there are some platforms right now which resemble like a metaverse destination, like having millions of those destinations, just like the internet today, I think then that's the point where we can really call it a metaverse. So we're not there yet. I think in like before 2030, I think 90% of all like websites today have like a metaverse equivalent or like fit that criteria. But we're not there today. So I think as that's one part of it. I think the second part of it is that when most people think about the metaverse or speak about the metaverse, we talk about like this matrix kind of world, almost dystopian world. And I don't really believe in that. I think I would rather believe in a real life metaverse or like a metaverse, which is, I think we will spend most of our time in augmented reality and not in virtual reality. So also at GoSpooky, we're not focused on replacing reality. We're much more focused on enhancing reality. And I think we can make the world even a better place with the use of technology. And it's just strange to think that everything still happens through like a 6-inch screen. I think there's so many possibilities to really add so much to our daily lives. So yeah, I think it's about, we should make sure that we're really enhancing reality and not replacing it.
I totally agree with you, because I think that the worst part of the whole metaverse concept is that as you said, basically, a lot of people think that it will basically change our lives and that we kind of we will kind of forget about the reality we actually live in. And I think that's awful because this is totally not the way it should go. But with the AR, and as you said, with this little bit of plastic as our phones, we can just enhance our reality. We can do so much more. We can make our lives easier and just more interesting. And basically it can develop in such a lot of cool ideas. But it doesn't mean that we should, you know, go fully into VR and cancel our culture.
No, and I think that you're completely right. And I think that it's like, how can you, so I think you're completely right. I think it's really about people in the core. People are really social animals and social creatures. And I think we should really think on how can we use technology not to replace these core human experiences, but really add value to those core human experiences.
Exactly.
And just in general, I think it's like, especially right now with advertising and creating things from brands, I think as a brand, you should also really try to add value to people's lives instead of interrupting them. I think that's
Yes.
one of them that's already important in like video and what's happening on social today, but in AR, it's the one and only thing you have to do. Otherwise, people won't use your app or experience.
Because there will be no use of it. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally agree. How should a creator, an AR creator, search or acquire for a client?
I think at first, in the beginning, I think it's really important to create like your own space within like a market or a community. So specialization, I think, is a real good one that also worked very well for us. We started only with Snapchat and expanded from there, but that allowed us really to get so many meetings. And we knew much more about social than only Snapchat, but it was like, okay, looking back, it was a really good strategy. So I would say, okay, people should ask themselves, what are you really good at? Is there knowledge that you have or interest that you have where you're just, you have a lot of knowledge about a particular topic or something that interests you a lot? Focus on that. Try to create your own space. And if you have that space and you have that specialization, try to create as much content as you can. So like TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, website, like try whatever works for you. If it's writing, filming, creating experimental lenses, like doesn't matter what, try to create as much content as possible, and then distribute it across all those platforms. And I think if you specialize, people know, hey, that's the
guy or the girl, that's the expert,
like the machine learning, like whatever floats your boat. Then people know will find you. So I think that's the most important part. Okay,
I get it. I agree with you because it's very hard to do at the very beginning, because when you just start your journey, you want to do it all. You have you're very interested in the topic and you're like, okay, so I'm going to try this, try that, and try all of this stuff. But then you're just doing a lot of stuff and too much of stuff.
I think it's just important to try as much things as possible before you find like the thing that just hits it right on the nail. I think that's the most, just try as much as possible, experiment, and eventually you'll find something like, hey, this is it, or this sticks. And the market changes, like we also moved on, but you need to find like that way in. And from there on, you can always like pivot or adjust or do something else. It's like, well, you need a way in, and that's the most important part. Like find that way in. Could be one client, could be a collective, like something. I think it's still also a really good one to first do some experience at a company, get some experience, learn from other people, find like peers that are interested in the same topic. I think that's where you learn the most, and I think there's a really vibrant AR community out there. So
I agree with you. I totally get it. And if, for example, an individual creator wants to pursue a professional career in AR, not just to do it for themselves, but also, to have a business, to have a profit out of it, and etc., would you say how hard it is to start your own business? And what are the basics, do's and don'ts for it?
So is it hard to start? No, I think you can start out of the bed. I think people can already start, and you don't have to put like your full day into something. If you're like in your evening hours working like on custom lenses on your free time, why not do it for a brand, right? So I think start small. You don't have to go all in at first. Like, so we started at the same thing. It wasn't a full-time job in the beginning. We were just like doing it this time besides school, but could also do it besides, I think, a job. Find the time to do that. Start small. Don't have like a full business plan, because you will find opportunities along the route. And if you have like a huge business plan, you will also just see things, and maybe you're too focused on something that's like, in the end, it's not going to be like that. So just start. I think the beginning is just the most important part. And I think all the information is on the internet. There's never been a better time to have a great idea. So all the info is on the internet. Like clients, they can find you online. There's never been a time where you can just post a video online, for example, on TikTok or another platform, and that just millions of people see it. All the technology basically is on your computer or your phone. So yeah, there's never been a better place, never been a better time to start something new and have a great idea.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you, honestly. Perfect. And do you have any advice for the creators who want to work with clients, and especially like big luxury clients? You already said that, you know, there are lots of information in the internet, a lot of opportunities, offers and all of that. But, you know, for some people, it may seem that it's too wide, and that if they want to receive from you like an advice, you know, step by step, what should I do to gain a cool client?
That's a great question. I think it is really dependent on like skill set and what you're trying to accomplish. So, for example, big luxury clients, it's a lot about like the experience. It's about the experience, design. If you want to land a client like that, I would really try to focus on like those kind of experience. Like, for example, I think 3D, having like a product as realistic, almost as like a piece of art, like having those skills is super important. Creating like a bigger experiences around fashion brands, for example, which look high end, which have a real high quality standard when it comes to like the looks of it. I would really focus on the skill set needed to do that. In general, finding clients, again, specialization. So finding a way in doing something that they only can do with you, or that you can really be the best in the whole world, on your own. But also when you're a company, still, we're still trying at GoSpooky. We're with almost 100 people, and we're still like deciding, hey, we're going to focus on this, and we want to be the best in the world in it, because we know we can do everything. I think the same goes if you're a single creator. So skill set. So investing in like skill, looking at like what's Dior doing, what's like Chanel doing, what are those brands doing, looking what skill set is needed to do that, and can you take it to a next level. And second one is specialization.
And so this is all from my point. I'm incredibly grateful that you were with us, that you answered to us and to all of the listeners to all of those questions. Thank you incredibly. Thank you very much. I had a pleasure.
Not a problem. I had a pleasure as well. And thank you so much for the invite.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who joined us. Obviously, there will be new episodes. Stay tuned. So thank you and goodbye.